Hello everyone, my name is Amy from the Projector movement, and today I'm going to talk to you about the heart center in human design. This is also referred to as the ego center, the will center, whatever you'd like to call it, is completely fine. Now, the heart center is one of 4 motors in our human design charts. The other 3 motors being the solar plexus, the root, and the sacral. So today we're focusing on the heart, and this is the motor center that's responsible for bringing things forth on the material plane. So think resources and money. And this is also a motor center that works in bursts. So if you have this energy in your chart, if you have this defined, then it's very important for you that you are resting in between your bursts of work or output, whatever it is that you're giving your willpower to. Now, not a lot of people have the center defined. I think about 35% of the population. So it's very important to know that we need to follow our strategy and authority around the center. Sometimes we cling on to these desires, and this is what we want, and this is what our ego is craving, and we think this is what I'm going to go after. So if you're chasing your heart's desires and you are ignoring your strategy and authority here, things likely won't work out the way that you had them planned in your heart and in your head. So it's very important to follow strategy and authority, unless, of course, you are an ego manifested manifester or an ego projected projector. So the heart center is the home of willpower, self-worth, ego, materialism. And when I say ego, I'm talking in terms of I'm not talking in terms of the negative rhetoric that's out there around the ego center. You can have a very healthy ego for sure. As with any of the centers in human design, as with anything in human design, there is a shadow aspect, and then there is a high frequency, and there's everything in between as well. So let's unpack a little bit of the shadow aspect here. Now, if you are in the shadow in this particular center, whether or not you are open or undefined or defined, you can still be in shadow with all of those things. If you are in shadow, there is this real need to try and prove yourself to the world. And I have a completely open heart center here, and I definitely resonate with that. Spent years trying to prove myself to the world, and I always felt that I wasn't worthy or deserving enough of these things that I wanted. And it's a really interesting shadow to look at. So just be very kind to yourself as you're watching this and as you are moving through the world of human design and uncovering things about this particular center, because it can bring up a lot. So it's okay to feel your way through that and just recognize that the shadow is there, and knowing that the awareness is enough to start shifting it out of the way. So you'll be really fighting to be seen as worthy in the world, or maybe you are just pushing through something even though the willpower is completely gone if you're in the shadow of the center, and that can lead to burnout as well, because this motor center is not consistent energy. It's like I said, it works in bursts. So it's very important to honor a cycle of work and rest here. Now, if you have this defined, or you believe that you have this defined, you can very easily put other people under pressure to go after what your heart desires. And this can be very uncomfortable for someone else that's receiving this energy. So it's something to be very aware of, that that's how the shadow can operate sometimes. And it can also lead you to thinking that you are better than other people, or people are less than you because they don't have the willpower to see something through as you do, or as you're forcing yourself to do. And yeah, this doesn't sound very nice. It's not a nice side of the center, but it's definitely there. So it's just something to be aware of. It's not something to be ashamed of if you feel like you've been in that place before. I've definitely been in that place before. So it's just having that awareness around the shadow side. Let's move into the high expression side of the center, which is pretty much the opposite of what the shadow side is. So when you are in your highest expression here, you know that you are inherently worthy. There's no measure of your self-worth. It is just inherent within you. It's innate within you. And your worth isn't tied to how much you do or how much you have, how much money you have, how many material things that you might have. You're not tying yourself to anything in that respect. You just know that you are worthy of everything, as is everyone. So this is a really beautiful aspect of this center. So what would it look like if you were defined here? Definition in the heart center means that you have the willpower to see things through. You are able to stick to your commitments, and you've got this beautiful energy to really pour into something at quite a high rate in short bursts of time. So you can get quite a bit done with this energy as well. It's just very important to rest in between these bursts so that you can kind of revive yourself, and then you're ready to go again and again. And you do have a really healthy relationship with money and material things here. It could be a main focus in your life, but it's not an unhealthy obsession. So this is a really great part of a healthy, defined ego center. Other people really love being in your energy, especially if you are talking about something that is really lighting you up and that you just have this willpower for, and that you know that you're going to carry through. Other people, which they're usually going to be open if you're the one with the defined heart, other people will really take this on and they'll amplify it, and they'll start going, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. That's me. This is exactly what I'm doing. And then they'll find that they leave your aura, they leave your energy. And the open heart people are going to start going, oh, I don't know if I actually want to do that. I don't know if I have the willpower to do that. I don't know if, is this right for me? And they start questioning themselves and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. So this cycle begins again. So it's just an awareness to have that your energy really radiates out of the center, and it's a very strong energy. So let's look at the undefined heart center. What could this look like? Now, we get quite conditioned in our open centers, and this can happen a lot in this particular center. And what can happen here is we largely undervalue ourselves. We perhaps charge less for our services if we are running a business, or we accept less pay than we know we're worth from an employer because we think, well, that's what's been offered to me. That's obviously all I'm worth. I'm just going to take that, because what if it goes away? What if I lose that completely? And we live in this kind of fair cycle around this. So again, with the undefined heart center, very important to follow strategy and authority and not make promises that you can't keep. And this was a big lesson for me here was, okay, I'm making promises because I think that if I do, then I'm proving myself to this other person, but then I couldn't deliver on what I was promising, or I was burning myself out in the process thinking, oh no, I've said this, I have to do this, have to see it through. And then I would just be exhausted for days after. So knowing that promises aren't really our best friend if we are open or undefined here, that's a really good one to be aware of. The last thing I'll say about this center, and there's so much, but the last thing I'll say in this particular video about this center is that when we think that we are not worthy of something, we think that, okay, maybe I'm not worthy because there's something wrong with me. All right, there's something wrong with me. I'll try and fix it. I wonder what it is. And we get fixated on finding these things that we think are wrong with us, because we believe that if we fix these things, that I'll be worthy. I'll be good enough then, and I'll be able to do what I want in the world. I'll be able to make the millions that I want to make if that is something that is important to you. I'm just using this as an example here. And it's just this repetitive cycle, because we're not doing it from a place of love. We're doing it from a place of fear, and we're scrambling to find things that are wrong with ourselves so that we can become worthy in the world. I just want to let you know that there is literally nothing wrong with you, and you don't have to keep digging and digging and digging to try and discover these things out of a place of believing that if I do this, I'll be worthy. You are inherently worthy. Your self-worth literally is limitless. It's just that belief in the self-worth. So it's all about going on a journey and making peace with yourself, which is easier said than done a lot of the time. But this is a really important center to look at, whether or not you are defined or undefined or open here, and really lean into the energies that it brings. Look at the gates that you might have on the center, if you have any at all, and notice when you are trying to prove yourself. What situation are you in? What type of people are you around? And you can start to unpack things that way through awareness, not through this need or this desire to really fix yourself so that then you are perfect in the world and that you can have everything you deserve, because you deserve everything that you want. It's just about, do you believe in yourself enough to let it all come to you?